I need some black joy. The fact that black joy even exists as a concept in the world is miraculous to me. Asians are no good at joy. We are good at working hard and being diligent and doing our best, but not joy. Colonizers too. Rich lives, no joy. We should never have hooked our stars to theirs. But black people, especially black Americans, are the best at joy. You've turned it into an art form. I know it came from terrible hardship that you've turned into soul and then into joy. And we, Chinese people, we just turn that hardship into more hard work. But I know you can't give it to us. We have to go out and earn it for ourselves just like you did. Joy is a puzzle for every human being and it's not free. When I ask my black friends where their joy comes from, they inevitably shake their heads and just repeat, you can't let them take it away from you. That's what it's not. But what is black joy? Can you tell me?
You know, a lot of people can't understand how us as black Americans, how in the midst of all our trouble and oppression and depression and any attacks we have, we still have maintained our joy. We still can have fun. We still can laugh. We still can smile. We can be broke and smile. We can have money and smile. We can go through sickness and smile. We can go through turmoil, chaos, and still have a smile on our face. And a lot of people have recognized that, and they don't understand the source of our black joy. Case in point, this Chinese lady is actually touching on that. Let's go ahead and play what she has to say. Let me tell you something, right? What this Chinese lady has stated, a lot of people don't understand that. Not just her as Chinese, the folks really can't understand it. They're worse with it. How is it that we've done all the horrible things to them and they still can smile? How? What kind of people is this? Because if they did that to us, we would just be angry, upset, and want to go on some sort of violent tirade. Well, first of all, the joy that we have is joy unspeakable, and it comes from the Lord above. It's not earthbound. So it's nothing that we can even give you. The source of a lot of our joy comes from the suffering too. The suffering and the overcoming of suffering. And that the problem is that, let's say as Chinese people, you haven't had the things done to you in this land that's been done to black Americans. We have Chinatowns all over America, and we have not had the U.S. military go drop bombs on any Chinatown. We haven't seen mobs of white people burning down your properties, running you out and taking your properties and taking your businesses. That's never happened to you, not even once. And over and over and over and over and over again, it happened to black people. Yes, you had some riots in the past and all of that, but it has not been just straight attack after attack after attack, let's say on Chinatown, right? You haven't suffered Jim Crow like we suffered. You haven't suffered, with the when they would actually have their picnics and what they would do at picnics and actually buy tickets to put one of your ancestors on a tree somewhere. They you know what I'm saying? That's not what happened to you. Yes, you dealt with some discrimination in America. Yes, you definitely had the Chinese Exclusion Act. I understand that. But no group in America has suffered like we have suffered. Some people say, oh, well, what about the Native Americans? Yes, they had the Trail of Tears. They were put on reservations. Yes, they have some discriminatory practice against them. But the Native Americans get reparations. Native Americans have land. The Native Americans, are considered sovereign in their dealings. Black Americans, while they was on reservations, we still suffer.
An Asian woman came on here and asked, what is black joy? And y'all decided to answer that question. Y'all decided to answer that question. Y'all can't keep nothing to yourself. So I'm going to answer the question now. I want you to sell your parents and grandparents and put them into slavery. I want you to take your sisters and brothers, cousins, and have people hang them from a tree. I want you to have your kids be sold into slavery. I want this to happen for 400 years. 400 years. I want you to fight for your freedom, or try to fight for your freedom. I want you to fight for it and only get equal rights, as they will call it. I want you to understand everything that you do will excel, but the people above you will not allow you to excel. So they steal from you, they take from you, and they plan it as their own. I want you to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting until you feel you have no more fight anymore. And that's when your black joy will come. Have a good day.
I think white people are so triggered by black joy because they have zero control over it. And white people are all about control. And anything they don't get to control and manage and dictate freaks them the hell out.
They don't get to be the leader.
All right, racists, let's talk about your distaste for black joy. Racist America fumes at the sight of happiness, especially when that person smiling is black. It's as if this country specializes in anger Olympics. Being a little too happy disturbs the patriotism. 3 or more laughs in one place is like being investigated by a mall cop. I'm gonna need to see some ID. Because deep down, they believe that pain is the only state that black indigenous people are allowed to live in. Black people start laughing too loud at their cousin's cookout. They throw on some Frankie Beverly. They start dancing with their auntie in a sundress while the ribs are sizzling. Instantly, their lives are in danger. It's like watching a perfect example of a case study on people who have a problem with control. It's like their obsession isn't just with control, it's like with the optics of it as well. They want to be seen as dominant in the space because they seem to disappear when there is black joy. When you throw your graduation cap in the air, surrounded by your entire family in matching t-shirts, they don't see achievement, they see defiance. Because in their minds, success was never black people's storyline. The truth is, black joy is a glitch in the racist lies that they feed themselves. They built a whole myth of superiority that only works if you're miserable, delusional, insecure, jealous, and mediocre. When black people shift the world with their joy and laughter, the racist's entire self-image starts to crack. This is why racists gatekeep golf courses, ban urban dress codes, side-eye loud laughter, and call the cops when the music's just a little too bassy. The unnecessary hate and determination to ruin black people's happiness is a disease, a brain-eating amoeba that siphons the cognition out of America's privileged society. And what hurts the most is that happiness and black joy is more infectious.
Y'all, I promise, one of the things I admire so much about our ancestors is their ability to smile and find joy inside, no matter what type of hell or storm they are going through on the outside. Because for real, this picture was taken in the 1860s. Slavery so-called ended in 1865. So it's likely that this picture was taken during the period of enslavement. Yet and still, this young girl found a way to smile. Don't get it twisted. Children who were enslaved weren't treated well either. See, this is why history is so important. It gives you perspective. Now, look, I've had a rough year, and I'm sure you had a rough year too. And we are having a rough time right now. But I promise you that it pales in comparison to what they went through back then. We will get through this. Just remember, as you go throughout your day, find some time to smile, because she sure did.
I'm going to keep saying this with my whole chest because some people are not deep thinkers. I understand that you're not a critical thinker. This is not for you. It's just not for you. Scroll up. So, my point today is, well, not today, but at this moment, like, why does black joy bother some white people? And some other groups, but majority is white people. And not all of you. You know what I'm talking about. You ever notice how the group of black folks, like they come together laughing, dancing, and just vibing, and suddenly is labeled as too loud, too ghetto, or too much? Jealousy. Jealousy. You know why? Because they couldn't strip that away. And it's surviving. But let's be real. It's not about the volume that's the problem. It's the vibrations. It's the freedom. It's the fact that we can still find joy after centuries of trying to be stripped of who we are. We still make something out of nothing. You understand? See, black joy is like disruptive in certain people. It challenges. And where we're supposed to be broken and angry and silent, it's like loving, living, and celebrating. So it's not just confusion. It's threatening to a certain group of people. Because black joy, for us, is power, is resistance, it's healing, it's ancestral. Of all the things they said we could not do, it's lies. Remember, we were here way before other groups were here. And now our happiness is not a performance. It's reclaiming who we said we always were. So the next time somebody looks uncomfortable with your black joy, remember that. You're not the problem. They're just uncomfortable and can't believe that after all this time, we are still celebrating who we are and who we are meant to be and who we are growing to be. So tell me, have you ever felt like your joy made somebody else uncomfortable? Let's talk about it, y'all. To me, I don't give a flying fuck who feels uncomfortable. This is my life, my body, and if you feel uncomfortable, move the fuck away. Right? Because where I was for Black Bike Weekend, we were on the side, I'm not gonna say the grown folk side, but we like our peace. So of course, it was a mix of black and white people. Like, we all around each other. We all talking to each other. You think anybody grabbed their purse because they see bikers in leather? No, they're used to it. They're talking, they're waving, they're like, oh, let me tell me about your bike, blah, 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 blah. These are people talking, not afraid and not jealous. There are some, but we didn't cross any this weekend. Okay? But have y'all ever experienced that? Like, you having joy, you having celebration, especially with all the graduates. Did you see those comments talking about black fatigue in the comments of Black Joy celebrating the college? See, the point that I'm trying to get at is no one who doesn't, how can I say this? If you black, you understand. It comes naturally, and it doesn't matter what state you from. We all have a common denominator of celebrating our blackness, and people can't stand that. People can't stand that. And I'm not just talking about in America. If we go somewhere else, Black Joy is celebrated different ways, but we still have that common denominator of celebrating of what we achieve regardless of the fact. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Anyway, happy Tuesday.
Do you actually know what Black Joy means? And do you know how important it is? Because we have seen time and time that black pain and black trauma gets advertised much better than Black Joy. As in, people would react so much better. I'm going to be recommending films like 12 Year a Slave or When They See Us. But if I end up recommending a Black Joy film or TV show like Harlem, She's Gotta Have It, then the engagement is lower. It is important to engage and give visibility to Black Joy films, movies, and TV shows. Because black people are not only about black pain and black trauma. I mean, come on, I don't always suffer, and neither do other black people. We have moments of joy too. And because we want to attract more of that joy, we're going to focus on more joy. You get me? You attract what you focus on. So today, tonight, tomorrow, watch a Black Joy film, watch a Black Joy show, read a Black Joy book. And if you would like more Black Joy recommendations, film, TV shows, or books, make sure to follow. And I also have a Black Book Club and Black Film Club where we actually focus on Black positive representation.
They told us to keep our hearts light as a feather. But how are we supposed to do that when the weight of life is just too heavy? When the weight of rent, when the weight of racism, when the raw reality of everyday life is just too heavy? How are you supposed to keep your heart light as a feather? Because I think it's important to understand that light is not just the absence of heaviness. Light is also the presence of divine frequency. When you don't have that heaviness of the weight of the world, you are in your divine frequency. How when your grandmother is humming or singing when she's cooking in the kitchen, how your kids get to laughing and giggling when they're running around playing. In that moment, their heart is light as a feather. In that moment, they are in their divine frequency. And that's where we should strive to be. Because they don't want us there. They want us heavy. They want our hearts heavy. They want us trapped in our thoughts. They want us stuck in our fears. They want us worried and stressing about credit scores, court dates, climate change. They even want us worried that one day our dreams will never come true. Either way, they just want us worried. But let me tell you, listen, we were not meant to pay bills forever. The melanated body was never meant to be a beast of burden for America, which was built on stolen land anyway. We are not the tools or products of capitalism. What we are is so much more than that. You are not just black. Your physical body is literally made of stardust. What you are in the non-physical is literally an infinitely expanding consciousness. You are a walking library of galaxies. You are coded with the frequencies of now-born gods and cosmic griots. You were not made just to be a worker for their system. You want to ascend? You got to remember, You gotta remember that Ma'at is not just a myth. She was the law of balance, the sacred scale between rage and radiance. And your heart is her altar. So I ask you, what is weighing you down? What bitterness have you accepted as your personality? What grief have you hoarded as your birthright? You see, the colonizer's greatest weapon was not the gun. It was the lie that God lived up in the sky somewhere, and that peace was earned through suffering, and that somehow joy was a sin. But our ancestors knew better, and they laughed around the fires while the chains clanked in the distance. They sang code into hymns and turned plantations into portals. They bent physics with drum beats, and they made joy a rebellion. And you see, America don't want you to know that. The system depends on your depression. It feeds on your anxiety like a vampire, because it knows that if your heart ever gets light again, then you'll rise above their matrix like smoke from sacred sage. So let it go. Let go of the illusion that control is safety. Let go of the narrative that trauma is your whole story. You gotta let go and let God. And no, not some old white man in a cloud, but the God that is you. The I am pulsing in your bloodstream. The sacred fractal of the Most High that exists within you. That sacred fractal of the Most High that is disguised in your smile, your swagger, even your survival. So yes, the world is on fire. Oceans are swallowing cities. The skies are coughing up dust and spitting out rainstorms. Everybody knows the economy is a scam, and America ain't nothing but a crumbling theme park with broken rides and a haunted mascot. But here's the thing. The universe has always known chaos before creation. And you were born now for a reason. Not to suffer, but to transmute. To turn sorrow into song. To turn fear into flight. To turn this broken world into a blooming garden with your vibration. So keep your heart light. Not because life is light, but because you refuse to let the heaviness of life dim you. You have to laugh like your soul still remembers the language of the stars. You have to dance like your melanin is made of solar panels. You have to rest like your spirit knows that the war is already won. Because when you keep your frequency high, the demons can't reach you. Their curses just bounce off you. And their chaos becomes background noise. And you become untouchable. And you become divine. You become free. So when they ask you, why are you smiling while the world ends? You gotta look them dead in the eye and say, because I am the beginning. Because I remember who I am. Because my heart is light. And that's enough to fly.
Black joy is going to be weaponized to sow counter-revolutionary sentiment. That is my 2025 prediction. And here's some late night thoughts that I just scribbled down really quickly. Imperialism and capitalism will weaponize blackness as shields, and it will work because anti-blackness is so rampant and will be so much more rampant, specifically within the incoming administration, that in defending blackness, people will end up shielding hegemonic institutions from being challenged. No war about the class war. Meanwhile, racism is going to be an existential threat for all of us, because so long as people cannot let go of their racism, then Black joy will always need to exist as a counterweight to that racism. And in that Black joy, neoliberal institutions will weaponize it to silence critique of institutions that wrap themselves in Black joy to further perpetuate themselves. Capitalism is like a parasite that has become drug resistant, so powerful that it can ingest critiques of itself to further strengthen itself. Hegemonic institutions will say Black Lives Matter, and people will believe that they mean that and acquiesce to those institutions and keep supporting them, or turn a blind eye to the fact that those institutions are actively harming Black people or supporting police unions, etc. They've got us good.
So when I'm talking about Black joy, I'm not talking about something flashy or performative. I'm talking about something real, something deep, something that didn't come easy. Black joy is the kind of joy that exists when it shouldn't. It's laughter that has learned how to survive. It's music, movement, humor, and connection that comes with a lot of pressure, not comfort, and that's why it hits differently. And if you're being honest, that's why some people outside the Black community want to taste it. And a lot of white folks and a lot of people in Asian communities too are drawn to Black joy because it feels free, it feels unfiltered, it feels like people are allowed to be fully humans, loud, expressive, emotional, creative, without asking permission first. For communities where emotions are often controlled, managed, or tied expectations, what that kind of joy can feel refreshing, almost healing, So people gravitate towards the music, the dance, the slang, the fashion, and the energy. They say there's just something about black people, and yeah, there is. But something didn't come out of nowhere. Black joy was built in the middle of struggle. It came from people who had found ways to live and love in the system that was never designed for them to thrive. And as you can see in the video, you can see a black girl in slavery, and she's just smiling there like nothing is happening. Like she looks so happy. So joy wasn't optional, it was necessary. It was a way to survive, a way to stay sane, a way to remind ourselves that we are more than what the world tries to reduce us to. And that's why things get complicated, because a lot of times people want the joy without the context, and they want the vibe without responsibility. They want to consume black joy, but they don't want to confront black pain or stand up for black people when it comes to actual matters. Black joy, black joy has become an entertainment, a trend, a personality trait to borrow. But black joy isn't it. It's not a costume. It's not something you can just put it on today and take it off tomorrow. It's not just something you can copy because it looks cool. It's rooted in experience, like in real history and real people who are still dealing with real consequences. And still we choose joy, like we choose to stay happy. And that's why black joy is important, because it teaches the world something powerful, that joy doesn't mean life is easy. It means someone decided not to let hardship have a final word. So Black Joy says, I have been through a lot and I'm still here. It says you don't have to take my humanity. It says I deserve to feel good even in the world that keep trying to take something from me. So when other communities are drawn to Black Joy, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Appreciation can be beautiful if it comes with respect, if it comes with listening, if it comes with support, when black people aren't being entertaining, funny, or inspirational. Because celebrating black joy means showing up when the music stops. It means protecting black lives, not just consuming black culture, because a lot of people are consuming black culture but are not interested in the black people. And black joy isn't loud because it wants attention, it's loud because it refuses to disappear, it says no, I can't fade. And if people want a taste of that joy, at least they can do is honor where it comes from and help make the world a place where black joy doesn't have to work so hard just to exist. So what I can say is that I hope, I pray, and I say that this joy should never fade, and the struggles of black people should be remembered, because oh my god, it's so amazing to see people smiling through the pain. It's so amazing to see people just happy and living their lives and not caring what other people think or say about us. And I'm so proud of every black person. And yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do everything to push this channel. And yeah, hope to see you in the next video. Bye.